because we see and recognize Lucky Dube because it's the only, what would I call, non-Jamaican who continuously use reggae music, because you have other artists who use reggae music. But Lucky Dube only use reggae music. And it give him a space in the hearts of the Jamaican people to say, here's an African using reggae music and has gotten over with the reggae music. So,
hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. And in today's video we're taking a look at Reggae Sunsplash 1992, the day Joseph Hill declared war on Lucky Dube. Reggae music as we know it emerged from the grimy inner city ghettos of Kingston in the late 1960s, a Jamaican-made genre that took the world by storm before the end of the 1970s. Naturally, Jamaica was the main hub and is still the capital of reggae, but over the years, artists from other countries have in their own right created their own sound and lend weight to the argument that non-Jamaican artists can also hold their own. It's not an easy road, apologies to Buju, especially when the judges are Jamaican audiences that are known for being difficult to impress, or Jamaican musicians who have always jealously guarded the art form. Today there are lots of non-Jamaican artists at the highest levels of critical and commercial acclaim, but in the 90s there were very few that earned the respect of Jamaican fans and Jamaican artists alike. One spectacular case was the legendary South African reggae artist Lucky Dube. Lucky Dube was a megastar on the African continent by the end of the 1980s and was beginning to make waves in France and North America, but in Jamaica he was completely unknown. That changed in 1991 when he made his debut at the annual Reggae Sunsplash in Montego Bay. His devastating performance not only won over the fans but shook the Jamaican artists to their core, and one of these Jamaican artists was the great Joseph Hill of the legendary band Culture, and will lead to something of a declaration of friendly war to prove the dominance of Jamaican reggae. Let's take a look at the time Joseph Hill declared war on Lucky Dube at the 1992 Reggae Sunsplash. The Reggae Sunsplash is one of the world's biggest musical events and has held every year since its emergence in 1978. It was the brainchild of four young Jamaican entrepreneurs who hatched the idea of a festival that will feature the best in Jamaican reggae music on the beautiful Jamaican north coast of Montego Bay. The first was headlined by the likes of Toots and the Maytals, Third World and Bob Marley, who were all Jamaican artists, but with time, the headliners included non-Jamaican artists. The show's performers are always the who's who in reggae music, and the show's promoters' ability to be strongly in touch with reggae's pulse by choosing the hottest artists is one of the reasons for the success of the show over the past 4 decades. The scouting of Lucky Dube in 1991 as a great potential headliner is another example of how good the Reggae Sunsplash crew are at what they do. In 1991, one of the organizers, Tony Johnson, was on tour with some musicians across North America and Japan, and by accident, he caught a show by a then young and red-hot South African reggae star called Lucky Dube. Johnson was astonished by Dube's amazing performance and the fact that he sang in a voice that sounded a lot like Peter Tosh, not to mention an excellent backing band called The Slaves. Johnson got all the information he could about Dube and then spoke to his partners about including Dube in the lineup for the next Sunsplash Festival in 1992. His partners had never heard of Dube and were skeptical of including an unknown African artist to face a possibly hostile and definitely hard to please Jamaican audience. Johnson insisted that Dube and his band would be a hit. The result was an unknown Lucky Dube and the Slaves band as one of the headliners of the 1991 edition on the closing Saturday night show. He opened with one of my favorite Lucky Dube songs, In Back to My Roots, and his spectacular performance, marked by his passionate vocals, excellent choreography by him and the entire band, blew the audience away and won over Jamaican reggae fans in a dramatic manner unseen since the dawn of the show 15 years earlier. Complete in the army fatigues that he and his band normally wore, they delivered a spectacle that was a delight to the fans, but was the equivalent of a throwdown challenge to some of the Jamaican artists watching the huge applause that greeted the end of Dube's performance. The legendary Joseph Hill was one of those artists, and Dube's performance that had been a gamble paid off for the organizers, so naturally they invited him back for the 1992 edition as one of the headliners for the finale alongside reggae greats Culture. Lucky Dube got on stage and, like he had done the previous year, delivered a spectacular show that eclipsed most of what the audience had seen throughout that day. But little did the audience know that Culture, which was scheduled to come on after, was planning to make a big statement and let the world know who was boss that night. To begin with, Joseph Hill, who was known for having excellent dress sense among his peers and always decked out in three-piece suits and outfits worthy of GQ, came on stage in military fatigues, similar to what Dube and his band always wore, in a symbolic declaration of war. Culture came in at about 3 a.m. in the morning, and for an hour and 30 minutes, they redefined the meaning of spectacular with one of Culture's greatest ever live performances, and that is saying a lot. Hill gave a masterclass of roots reggae music that would leave no doubt that Jamaican reggae was still number one at the end of the day. But mind you, there was nothing bad-blooded about the throwdown and was just something of a friendly competition between distant cousins. Joseph Hill was interviewed by the Caribbean Beat magazine about the musical battle, and Hill laughed heartily and admitted that indeed he had set out to make a big statement that evening. In Hill's own words, "I love Lucky Dube, but I just wanted to kind of show that reggae is a Jamaican thing and that Jamaica is the root of reggae music." So the 1992 Sunsplash Festival ended on a high with performances by one of Africa's greatest artists and one of Jamaica's greatest reggae artists ever, both delivering amazing performances on the greatest reggae platform in the world. They were not losers that night, but instead, it was all a big win for the two men, the fans, and the genre of reggae music. So there you have it. Thank you for watching the video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, God bless.